Hey everybody, welcome back to Know Nothing Garage. Thank you for joining today's video. Today I'm going to be building a project that I've really wanted to do for a little while now, and I finally was able to get some supplies together, so we're going to get started. I'm going to be building a wood rolling cart, and what I'm going to be using it for is just going to be to store like my air compressor and maybe a bench grinder. I have it all mapped out in my head, but yeah, it's something that anyone can do. You guys can use it for whatever purpose you need it for. The same, building principles apply. So I'm just going to be walking you guys through what we need to do. Let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to need to do is build a basic frame for some shelves. So for that, I just have some 2x4s more on the ground, but basically I've measured out and I know that the sides of each one need to be 14 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my trusty square. I will measure out 14 inches, cut a line, and then I will start cutting up some pieces. So it's important that after you make the first cut, you use this piece of wood as a reference for the next cuts. Don't use this one, put it away. Use the second piece as a reference for the third for the fourth, etc., because your pieces will incrementally get longer. So always use the first one over and over again as your guide as you're doing this. So I'm going to start cutting out some pieces of wood. Okay, I have each side of what is going to be the frame of our shelves cut out. So it's time to assemble them. But one question that some people might have when they're watching that time lapse is, why don't I wear gloves? That's a pretty common question. So the reason is because on any rotary tool or an oscillating tool, so a saw like this, a circular saw, angle grinder, a lot of different tools, even drill presses, jigsaws, things like that, have the tendency to, if you get a glove anywhere near it, it'll pull it and actually drag your hand into the tool instead of being able to pull away from the tool. So if I started to nick my finger on a tool for some reason, I could pull my hand out pretty fast, hopefully. With a glove, it can get twisted into whatever it is that it's catching on and actually pull your hand in, preventing you from being able to save yourself, basically. So that's why I don't wear gloves on a lot of projects, because it actually is a safety thing. So that's something I learned later in life. I didn't hurt myself, but I've definitely heard of people who have and lost limbs, fingers and digits and things that way. So that's why. But now we're going to move on to assembling these guys. So let's do it. Okay, so I will show you guys really fast. The way that I am going to assemble these is actually a little bit different than what you might think. So these are going to be my edges. These are, and just for your reference, these are 14 inches. These guys are 12 and a half. So typically how you would think I'm going to build a shelf is like this. That is not how I'm going to build these shelves, because I don't want to. And I'll explain. So I am actually going to be building them like this. This, and then have this out here. So this is actually going to be the platform for my shelf. You might be asking why. Honestly, it's to save space. I'm going to have a 3-shelf system, and I need a certain amount of clearance for each tool. For the air compressor and things, I need each one to clear a certain height to be able to slip in and out. Well, if I build the shelves like this, you guys can see I'm adding an extra, I think, 1.5 to 2 inches that I can't put anything under, because it's the shelf. So what that basically means, if each one of these is 2 inches, the whole rolling cart is going to be at least 4 to 6 inches taller than what I want it to be. So because of that, I'm actually going to build these this way, and that's going to slim them down a ton and make it a lot easier to save a little space. Because otherwise, I mean, you guys see how tall my bench is here. It's probably going to end up being maybe about this high, which is good. It would be, you know, somewhere way up here if I didn't build it this way. The challenges would be how to assemble these. When you assemble something like this, you basically just drive 2 screws right there, which is really easy. But you guys can see that I have this little Craig jig, which is really cool. And it allows you to drill pocket holes. So you basically clamp it on here, and then you drill in, and it drills a diagonal hole perfectly to this piece of wood. And that allows you to drive things in sideways and hide any screws from sight. So that is how I'm going to be doing this. It's going to take a little guessing check to know how far away I need this on this thickness of wood. So I'm going to use some of the scraps I have. But yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that. So that's the next step. Okay, so you guys can see I have the basic frame for my shelf laid out, and you can also see that this is really nice. These completely disappear. You can put it underneath so you never even see them, or what I can do is once I cut out the plywood top, I can put the top on, and then these holes will all just completely disappear. It'll look like nothing's holding it together. So basically I just need to do this at least once more. And then the next shelf I will have to customize a little after that. So I'm just going to keep plugging away. I will update you guys when I am done. Okay, so the shelves are done except for cutting out the plywood tops. I'm actually going to wait on this until I have a little bit more room, move the car out and stuff, but I can't do that today. So frames are done. So now I'm going to cut out the legs. I know I measured here. You guys can see my math here. There you go. So I measured out how much space I need for each of the things, and I am going to I know that my legs need to be 42 inches long. I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. So with that, I can go ahead and cut out 4 42-inch long boards out of this and keep working away. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I have my 4 legs cut out, super easy. So I'm going to be assembling this right side up like it would sit on the ground, and I'm going to be attaching the legs here and here, and then 2 on the other side. So basically all I did was I went and got 3-inch screws. I'm going to pre-drill and just drill them into the side. We got it attached. Basically now what I need to do is mount the next shelf 16 inches above. And instead of, I don't know, either trying to hold this up and try and figure out where it needs to go, or, you know, mark it and do all that, what I did was I just took an offcut of 16 inches and I set it right here. So that way, I can't really do this with one hand, but that way when I come to set this down, that side is perfectly 16 inches and I can just keep doing that as I go. Okay, learn from my mistakes. Luckily it was before I actually attached anything, but remember I cut this to 16 inches to fit the air compressor. Well, what I didn't do and didn't say was to account for the thickness of the piece of plywood you're gonna set as your tabletop. So I luckily found a scrap that's the same thickness as what I'm gonna use and put it underneath to raise this up. So reality, this isn't 16 1/4, it's more like 16 3/4. Just remember, that's something. Also, I was able to use clamps to kind of level this thing out to get it raised up enough. based off of this piece of wood. So that was super helpful. Once I get this done, I'll make sure that it's leveled the other ways as well and just kind of keep going corner by corner. Okay, sorry for no time lapse or update. The GoPro did not want to turn on last night. After I filmed the last clip you guys saw, it kind of shut down and wouldn't turn back on. I needed to power through. So basically, here's where I'm at. It's not too much further, but I did get this middle shelf mounted. So now the top platform is not going to go in the same way. I'm actually going to be building 2 cross beams here, and it's going to have a bigger platform. So for now, I can build these cross beams, and we can kind of take it from there. Okay, so you guys can see that I got this done, and I've got the hole cut out, and I haven't told you what the hole's for yet, but you probably saw this dowel goes through. I'm still not going to tell you guys what that's for yet, but now basically the only thing left to do is to cut out the plywood. So this is an absolute disaster. So I'm actually probably just going to spend a little bit of time cleaning up, and then maybe today I'll get to tracing out the lines. But yeah, this is basically all built. I just need to, like I said, build the tops for each shelf, and then build the top shelf as well. So that is what I'm going to do after I clean up. Alright guys, so here it is. Here is the stand that I made, the cart. I still need to throw the feet on it. I will do that really fast, but this is what it looks like for now. You guys can see from the video, the time lapse that I did, that there is a spinning top. I can't believe it actually worked. There is a reason for the top, and through more video you will see why. So it's time to get the feet on and continue on the project. Okay, so I have a few finishing touches to make, but I got the bulk of it done, so I wanted to show you what I built. So this is my rolling cart, and you can see I have an air compressor, my welder, which I literally just got and I've never welded before, so future video learning how to weld, and then I have my bench grinder. Well, the reason I wanted to do this was because I needed to have a place where I could mount both bench grinders. So you guys can see that I have my bench grinder, and this has the actual grinding wheels on it, but you know that I also have my one with the wire wheel and the buffing wheel. So if I need to use that, I just flip it over, and now I have my wire wheel and my buffing wheel. And so the last finishing touches is I'm going to be putting securers here on each side so that it's secure, so that I don't have to, obviously I don't want this table moving, but if I need to flip it back, it simply goes back, and then I will, like I said, I have locks that I'm going to attach. So that is what I built. I will continue the fall finishing touches. I want to place some hooks in certain places for maybe like the air hose would hang off the side. All these, welding, all the wires that go with that I want to have, as well as, because this pivots, I'm going to put maybe hooks on the back for the cords so that they don't flop all over the place. So that is the finishing touches that I need to make to this. But yeah, I am pretty excited. I can't believe that it actually worked. All right, guys, so here it is. I've added a few things so far. One, you can see I added these handles. So basically, you guys can see these are actually for like a cooler, like a Yeti cooler or something, and I just ordered them off Amazon. And so basically, they're rubber, you just pull it off, and then that allows you to rotate this. So I have 2 on the front, and I have 2 on the back. And that really holds this table in place. It's hard to do with one hand, but there you go. It's back on. And so it really helps hold it. Obviously there's a little bit of movement, but it's not bad at all. And if I'm working on any project, it's gonna stay super solid. The other thing you will notice that I added was, remember from the backyard project, I had those black hooks. So I added one here to hold the power cord on this one, and then you can see underneath I added another one right here to hold this power cord, so it just holds it right in place. I added 2 more of them, one for the power cord for the welder and one for the ground cable. And then over here I added just a little eye hook just for the actual welder gun. So it's definitely a work in progress. There's probably a few more things I'm gonna do. You guys know I have the air compressor hose on the wall. Maybe I could mount that to the cart somewhere. Maybe it could go on this side, or definitely on the other side as well. We'll see. But for now, this is where I'm leaving it. I'm pretty happy with it. It came out about what I expected. I wasn't actually sure if it was gonna work, to be honest, but let me move everything out of the way. We'll put it in where its final home will be, and then we'll wrap this video up. Okay, so here we are. This is the final resting place. You guys can see it sticks out kind of far, and one of the nice things is I purposely have it out this far so that I can actually store my scraps of wood behind it. So this thing actually will go back another 3 or 4 inches with what I have now, so it actually doesn't even come out as far as the countertop. So if I have something in the vise, it'll actually still clear, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm very happy. You guys can see this is a really nice height. It's about 6 inches taller than the counter. And yeah, I like it. It's really helpful. The welder is here, so if I have something in the vise that I'm welding, it's literally just right here. The air compressor hookup, actually the hose is right here, so it's really easy to attach and detach it, so I might just leave that there. But the reason I did this was because if I need to, let's say, fill up air for one of the cars, I can just take this out, or I can just actually roll the cart over there to the other side of the garage and just quickly fill up the car. So that's kind of why I did it. I'll have more stuff on here eventually, but this was just where we ended up. So I hope you guys like it. I think it probably cost me about $50 total in plywood, 2x4s, the casters, and the little these little hooks. So really not that bad, considering it got the air compressor off my floor, the welder off my floor, both of the bench grinders. I saved cabinet space with those, and they're actually accessible for when I need them. I'm really happy with that. That actually is well worth it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.